Welcome back to the channel. I've got a special video today, and it is comparing the Nord Stage 4 to the Yamaha YC series. You might be saying to yourself, Douglas, why would you compare an almost $6,000 keyboard with around a $3,000? That's almost twice the price for the red. And what I would say is this video is geared towards those of you who maybe you're a church or a band, you're looking to pick up a stage piano, and you're trying to decide between what's out there. Obviously, the Stage 3 is also a contender in the mix here, but what I've got is the YC88 and the Nord Stage 488. In this video, I'm going to talk about the feature similarities and differences between the Nord Stage 4 and the Yamaha YC, and hopefully help you be more informed to decide if the additional features in the Nord Stage 4 are worth the extra almost $3,000 that the Nord Stage 488 is. Now, obviously, there's some other variations of these keyboards that are less expensive, but the features and the functionality are going to be the same across them, and they're proportionally about the same difference in price as you work back to the other variations outside of the 88 key. So let's get into it and talk about a couple of things right off. First, let me play you the piano again like I did in the intro. So this is a CFX Grand on the Yamaha YC88. This stage piano has the triple sensor, authentic wooden keys. They feel great, and I'll talk a little bit about the differences between the key feels of these, but let me just play you the CFX. Let's put a little bit of reverb on there, and let's go to town here. And on the Nord Stage 4, we've got the white Grand. I'll throw a little bit of stage reverb on that as well, and I'll play that same thing. Which one's better? I'll let you decide, and I'll play you a few other samples here as we go. I'm going to be doing another video where I target the organ sections here and do a little bit of a sound shootout between the organs and the pianos on the Nord Stage 4 and the YC series, just because I think it's kind of a fun little thing to do, compare the sounds. There's a few other sounds in here on the piano section. If I just move over to, let's say, the upright here. Let's grab an upright over here. We've got the amber upright here. There's also the felt upright, and there's a new felt piano. So this version of the YC88 I have on version 1.3, which as of making this video is the latest firmware update. And they added the felt piano along with a couple other things into here. This does have the upgraded Leslie effect as well. So we're working with the latest and greatest. The felt piano on the YC88 is beautiful. Play you a little sample of this. And then the felt upright on the Nord Stage 4, kind of a similar, the one that I have on here is the large version. I don't have the extra large version here. And let me just go grab that again. Felt upright. You get a little bit more of the piano noises on the Yamaha YC version. But again, I only have the large version, not the extra large of the felt upright on the Nord Stage 4. So it could be that there's some extra sounds in there on the extra large version. So before I get completely caught up in comparing the sounds on these, let's talk about features and functionality, because that's really the point of this video. Let's talk about the keypad here for a second. So on the Nord Stage 4, triple sensor, on the YC88, triple sensor. Great. That means you don't only have a sensor for the down and the up, but you have something in between that helps you get some of those quick repeating notes. And then on the YC88 as well. So much more realistic, because on an acoustic piano, you don't have to let the key up fully and press it down again to get the sound. So it allows us to get a little bit just more realism to the sounds here. Now, obviously, the Yamaha YC88 has authentic wooden keys, and they've got this little like grain effect on the sharps and the flats. They feel really good. Let's go back to our CFX Grand. I'd like to bring the tone on that down a little bit, and the depth of my damper resonance up. The keypad's not overly heavy, which is great because you have the organ and the electric piano that you want to be able to hit. On the Nord Stage 4, I would say not a heavy weighted keyboard. They still feel really good even though they're not wooden. They don't have like the little wood grain effects on them. Let's go back to our white Grand here. Bring a little bit of that reverb in again. Feel really good. I would say weight-wise, it feels like the Yamaha YC88 has just slightly shorter of a range between the top and the bottom. Could be my imagination though. So the Nord Stage 4 feels just a little bit maybe heavier, but it's barely noticeable. It's almost like the range of the key is just a little bit more on the Nord Stage 4. Now, because these are authentic wood, I think they feel just a little bit better for piano playing. But when it comes to organ playing and some of those things where you want to do runs, so let's bring in our organ here. So you want to get some of those slides in there. I will say that the keys on the Yamaha YC series are a little bit sharper on the corners, so it hurts to come up. Let me just turn this section off and turn the organ on. It's like getting rug burn on my hands when I do the slides. Not overly appreciative if you're an organ player on the 88 key. I'd probably recommend one of the lighter actions. It's definitely can still kind of get away with those runs on the YC88. But again, if you're into the organ playing, I would probably steer you towards not the wooden weighted keys of the 88. While on the Nord Stage 4, I actually think it's a good mix, and you could actually play your organs. Well, it's not as light as a compact keyboard, and it's not the waterfall keys. They still are rounded enough that it allows you for some of that quick playing in the slides without feeling like you're getting rug burn on your hands. So next, let's talk about the sound engines, the front panel. As you can see, on both of these stage pianos, they've put the controls right out front. So starting on the left of both of these, we have the pitch and the modulation. You can see Yamaha tried to go with a little bit more of this knuckle, almost like bouncy switch type of thing. I like it, but the Nord Stage 4 takes the cake on that. It's just positioned better, works better. And the modulation stick on the Yamaha YC88 feels really cheap, whereas the Stone on the Nord Stage 4, it feels really good and solid. I know you can tie parameters to the one on the YC88, but it feels like I'm going to snap it off, and I don't want to do that, but it feels like I'm going to snap it off. It's a little bit flimsy compared to the pitch one, feels a little bit more solid and better there. So then you get into here, you've got the same setup, rotary speaker, main volume, organ section, got the LEDs and the physical drawbars on both of these stage pianos. In terms of feel, the Nord Stage 4 are a little bit lighter weight or easier to move up and down. The Yamaha YC have a really firm feel to them, which is not a bad thing. They both show the values of the drawbars on the screen as you're moving them. If you've got two organs layered together, we turn both of those on and I go into my view here, I can actually see for each one what my drawbar settings are here on the screen. So go back and turn one of these off. I've got this center piece here. Now, where the difference is the keys section on the YC series is inclusive of your synths, your electric pianos, your pianos. They're all right here. Your samples are there as well. On the Nord Stage 4, because you have the addition of this entire synth section, the synth and the program sounds are over there, and the piano and electric piano sounds are separate. So that's one of the big differences and kind of the additions of the Nord Stage 4 outside of kind of the ability to do some additional layering, which I'll talk about here in a minute. You have the completely separate piano and synth sections, which give you that additional layering and splitting capability. The Nord Stage 4 has a dedicated synth engine, and along with the samples, you can build some pretty complex synth sounds. Whereas on the YC88, while it does have synth sound, so if we come in here, turn the organ off, turn the synth on, and come over to our synth, you can scroll through, we've got some pad sounds. You could even layer two of these key sections together. So let's talk about layering for a minute here. On the YC88, you can have an organ. You can turn it on and off with these toggles. So this is kind of your on-off switches for your layers. You basically can have organ and two piano or keys layers on at the same time. And remember, that's where your synths lay as well. You can split these, so you've basically got three layers, one organ, two keys. The two keys could either be a piano, an electric piano, synth sound, or one of the samples. They've got some saxophone and things like that. So those are here. On the Nord Stage 4, in contrast, you have two organ layers, two piano layers, and three synth layers. So you have a total of 7 layers on the Nord Stage 4 compared to 3 on the YC88. And with the synth section on the Nord Stage 4, I can actually layer 3 synth sounds together and get a pretty complex synth sound. So if we come in here and we grab a synth preset, let's come in here and grab one of these with the 3. These have really complex sounds, and you can come in here and adjust your volumes without needing to switch layers. Now, if we look at the Yamaha YC in contrast, we could layer 2 synths together, and we're going to have to switch between the keys A and the keys B to get our volume and our tone and settings for each layer. Similar to maybe the Nord Stage 3, where you had to switch between your A and your B layers to get those. This would work similar, where your controls are kind of independent on your A and your B layers there. You can turn them off and on quickly with these little toggles. The other big difference here is the effects. So on the YC88, you have 2 effect slots here that are unique to the keys section. And then you have this effect slot here. You can choose between your 2 key layers or your organ layer for this effect. And then on the speaker amp, again, you get the same thing. And then reverb is either on everything, organ, key A, key B, and then you have a master equalizer right here. So if you turn this on, this applies to everything. You can kind of do a nice little master EQ if you go into an event or a venue. And you've got to just adjust the overall EQ. You can do that here. Now you'd have to do that a little bit differently on the Nord Stage 4, but on the Nord Stage 4, you have this layer effects section, and you can have unique effects for your organ section, each of your piano layers, and each of your 3 synth layers. So you can essentially have 6 different effects engines controlling different things. One of my favorite pad sounds is the Shimmer Synth preset. They're using a little bit of that cathedral cloud reverb delay in there. It's just a beautiful sound, one of my favorites. And you bring that in with a piano sound. Let's jump into soft, a little dynamic compression. Man, that's just beautiful. So you get a lot more with the Nord Stage 4 in terms of your layering and splitting ability. Your synth section, your layer effects, gives you the ability to just make some more powerful sounds. Let's talk about this center here, because I think this is a big part of a stage piano and the ability to quickly recall things for a live playing perspective. So on the Yamaha YC, we've got this live set here. We've got these different pages. So we have 20 different live set pages, and each one of these pages can have 8 live set presets. So we can save sounds to these, and we can quickly switch between them with these buttons here. Now come up to the Nord Stage 4. We have those 8 same recall buttons here, and we can use these in 2 different ways. One with live mode, where the sounds that we save into these 8 live mode slots stay there, and then we can tweak them, and it instantly saves the tweaks. So when I move away and come back, it saves the way that I had tweaked it before. Now I could obviously save these to programs, and that's the other way that we can use these buttons. So these also recall programs. So we have many different banks, and within each of those banks are many pages, which can have 8 programs each. And so we can quickly recall with that as well. The triple pedal, you can go up and down. You can program the Nord triple pedal to do some of those things for you. So as you're playing live, if you want to have live mode and save those changes in real time, live mode is your tool with those 8 slots. If you don't, and you want to have programs saved that you switch between, you can use just the program mode. So a bit more versatile in how you can use that. There's a lot of other things here too, where you can solo your layers and do all sorts of that functionality here on the Nord Stage 4. So let's talk about one more little difference between the Nord Stage 4 and the Yamaha YC. And that is that the Yamaha YC has a little built-in audio interface, so to speak, in the keyboard, so that if you plug it into a computer, it can act as its own audio interface. So you can record the sounds that you're playing on the keyboard to your DAW, to your computer, without an extra audio interface. So like I'm using the Focusrite audio interface, and I'm going stereo out for both of these into Pro Tools to record this for the video. Now I could, with the Yamaha YC, is plug USB to the computer and then just record the sounds from the Yamaha YC. You can't do that with the Nord Stage 4. There's no built-in audio interface, so you need that intermediate audio interface if you're going to record the Nord Stage 4 on your computer. Just kind of a cool little difference, and something nice that I'm glad that they give on the Yamaha YC, because it tends to make things a little easier if you just want to record you playing the YC to your computer. You don't need a separate audio interface. Another thing in terms of the inputs and the outputs is the Nord Stage 4 has 4 outs, and you can assign those. So you could have your organs going to a separate place as your piano and synth, however you want to configure that. The Yamaha YC has an interesting, it's got 2 1/4-inch outs, and it's got 2 XLR outs. So another nice thing that they've thought of is when you're playing this on stage, with the Nord Stage 4, you'd need a DI box, a stereo DI, or 2 separate mono DIs to convert the Nord Stage 4 1/4-inch to XLR to go to front of house. Whereas on the Yamaha YC, it's almost got that DI built into it with the XLR outs, so you don't need the middleware DI again. They've kind of eliminated some of those middle components and allow you to just plug this directly to your front of house, and you're good to go. So pretty cool that way. Some nice little things that they give you on the Yamaha YC. Obviously, if you're a gigging musician, you probably have the DIs already and things like that. If you're a studio musician, you probably have audio interface. So Not necessarily making excuses for the Nord Stage 4, but a lot of times you're going to have those things anyway. So hopefully that gives you a little context to the differences on a functionality perspective between the Nord Stage 4 and the Yamaha YC. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing some videos comparing the sounds between these two, because while they do have a big difference in price, they're still both pretty expensive keyboards, and they're both really good manufacturers that put out some really good sounds. So I'll do some shootouts between the pianos, organs, synths, and samples in future videos. But if you've got any questions around either of these keyboards, videos you'd like to see, throw those down in the comments below. I'll make note of those and add those to my list of videos to make, and I appreciate the feedback from you guys and the comments and the questions from you guys on these videos. We've got a great community here, and I love these keyboards and I love playing. So let me know what you think. You know, is the Nord Stage 4 worth the almost extra $3,000 for some of those big features like the dedicated synth engine, the pretty intense layer effects and things like that? So again, let me know if you have questions. Throw those down in the comments below. Stay inspired and keep making that music.